Yeah, so they're
Hey,
not
Rob,
against it.
can I ask you to move that to your side? No, just to the other side of you.
Even if they
If you want
don't,
to.
if it's somehow combined, lots 10 and 10.1.
It won't be the same letter, or just.
Yeah, maybe they could just
But
reference that. on the-
They don't have a security interest in that. It's on the other lots. Maybe that's why they're, I don't know. He was on vacation, I know that.
Okay.
The gentleman I deal with.
Well, we need to move this along. I suggest that we accept the application as complete
Subject to,
with the condition that you'll be giving us the
Yeah.
letter of consent
before it gets recorded.
that's really specific to that lot. So, does anybody, we've had a chance to review, does anybody have any comments on the application itself as far as completeness? I would move that we accept the application for merger of lots, map tax map 105, lot number 9 and 9.1 as complete.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, so we now have the accepted application for merger, and we'll open the public hearing. For those in the public, just to kind of summarize what this is, it's a request to merge two lots, small and where the golf club maintenance building is, and that large lot that's adjacent to it. I don't know. I don't play golf. Is that Golden Braid or something?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll turn this over to Craig. I don't know if you have some sort of presentation, Craig, you want to?
Well, I just want to reiterate, I mean, it was originally one big lot, and then it was subdivided off when the building, right before the building was built. It would serve our purposes better if they were combined as one lot. The present zoning is the same between the two lots. The principal use is obviously the golf course, and it's just an accessory use of the golf course. There's no reason for it to be separate lots at the moment. It would, again, serve our purposes better if it was combined. And leave it alone and leave it at that, I guess.
Okay. Anyone from the public wish to give a comment in favor of the application? Or against the application?
How far down is the lot go? Does it go all the way to the end of the trees?
Both lots are totally bounded by cement bounds on all points.
I'm just trying to, in my own mind, trying to figure out where they are. I don't know where they are.
Yeah, we do have a
There's
map.
one behind.
And this,
It just said there was gonna be a meeting.
Yeah.
This one does show it. You want to take a look at it?
Bring it to.
Rich, you can point out Boulder Path Road and that.
Boulder Path here.
Yeah.
because I had to look at the,
And this is.
I knew what it was.
Oh,
What's his
oh,
first?
Oh, okay. Fine.
Just a matter of consistency, Craig?
If we were to come back to you again, another hearing with another building, let's say, we could set it better on the lot without having to deal with lot lines.
Yeah, that's no big one.
That's really the big thing. There's a 20-foot setback on that small lot, and precludes
That's
us,
about it.
precludes us from doing anything in that area, which would be more beneficial. Or I actually haven't determined about what we want to do, but we definitely need to add another building over there for like a cart barn, put some stuff inside. That's the idea, is to build another storage building.
Craig, do you have any idea of why it was originally subdivided?
Yes, I mean, I asked the previous owner why they did it. In my mind, it didn't make any sense, but
Yeah,
doesn't matter. They did mortgage that separately when they built it,
gotcha. It was a financing.
but as you all probably borrowed money before, they want you to sign for everything. So I didn't understand why it was separated for that, only that one reason. If it, for any reason, somebody wanted to rezone the property differently, it would probably be beneficial to have it as a separate lot. But I don't anticipate doing that, and I don't think it would be a good idea for anybody else to do that.
Well, actually, the change you're gonna make would make it much more difficult to rezone it. You
That's
have
what
to
I'm,
subdivide
that's
it.
what I'm, that's one of the reasons I would like to do it, I guess, is to, the highest and best use of that property is what we're doing with it right this second.
Yeah,
Wouldn't see it to be anything different than what we're doing. Maybe a little cleaner, but what we're doing. So I think it would be down the road, it would be, like you're saying,
yeah.
it'd be stupid to subdivide it back up again.
Larry, did you have something?
Just that I was not opposed to having.
Well, there's two things. The benefit to the town is that it remains in the recreational zone and it remains as a accessory use to the principal use. That's a benefit to the town. The benefit to me is to not have to deal with an interior, let's call it an interior lot line, if we were to build anything. So that's about the size of that.
Other comments?
Where, are you gonna have an access road there?
No.
How do you get to the end of your property?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm just thinking,
Nothing will change on what you see there today
Yeah,
or what you saw yesterday is not going to change. It's a line that's in the woods, actually.
the woods is fine, but.
Well,
but if
that's
you
where the
put a-
property line is
Yeah.
in that woods area. And while we're asking for it, and personally, the lot line doesn't change. We're just merging the lots, which are kind of merged contiguously today anyway.
Well, so will I be looking out on potentially a road or
No.
or a building of some sort?
No. Your particular property nothing will change.
Good.
Any further comment? That being the case, I'll move to approve the application for the merger of lot map number 105, 9 and 9.1 with the condition that we receive the letter of consent prior to its final approval of the letter of consent of the lien holder. And as discussed. We can get a second.
Did you technically move to approve the application or to improve what are we approving here?
The application has been accepted as complete.
Right.
We are approving.
So we
the
are
application for
approving
merger.
the
We are approving
merger
the
of the
merger.
lot lines. Okay,
They're done.
yeah, okay, I'll second that.
Okay, we'll open it to discussion, deliberation. Any further questions or anything on it? Okay, we'll close the public hearing and we'll bring it to a vote. And this requires a roll call vote. So,
Aye.
aye. Aye. Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Aye. So, okay. Good. That's unanimous. All right, thank you. The second issue, as soon as we receive the letter of consent, we'll sign this, make it official, and then, Mark, it's up to us to get this recorded at the registry. And to
Yeah, between the two of us, we'll get it
bring
recorded.
the tax map and the tax record.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, second,
This won't take effect until, unfortunately, it's after April 1. So it won't take effect until 2020, April 1, 2020,
on the tax.
on the tax, as far as your tax bill and everything, Craig. Because it's post.
But we will get it recorded at the.
Yeah, we'll get it recorded and everything. And
Okay.
the tax map will be updated next year.
Okay. All right, we have an application for a site plan review before us with regard to the golf clubhouse. An addition of 40 by, approximately 20 by 20 addition to the building itself. That has been actually already merged. It's just that the record been brought up today. The plans and application have been available for review, and we do have a set of them up here. And I've gone through it, and there have been requests for waivers on certain requirements with regard to site plan review, because it is not a major, I wouldn't say, site plan change. I don't know if anybody has any comments on the completeness of the application. You might have had a chance to review. Fine. Okay. I believe it can be considered complete and can be accepted as a completed application. Unless anybody has any comments to the other. Therefore, I'll move that we accept the application for the site plan review of the clubhouse expansion as complete. Any discussion? All in favor?
I have one little question in regards to the pond. What do you set that waterways?
It's
I
a,
don't know.
it's a man-made structure, so it's not. There's a liner, it's man-made, we made it, so it's not like a great pond or anything. It's an irrigation pond, strictly for that. It's like a fire tank or whatever.
But how far away is actually the building gonna be from that pond?
It's gonna be close, but it's a lined pond, and it's no different than any other structure on the property. It's not a natural thing.
I answer your question, I'm not aware, I don't remember there are any regulations at all that talk about distance from the building to a waterway of any type in our regulations, right?
I'm not sure there are any regulations. I don't recall of any regulations. I'm not sure if it's a state.
It doesn't fall under the
Yeah, no,
waterways.
it probably doesn't fall under the state, although, again, the point you raised is that that pond is, my understanding, when it was originally approved, was dual purpose. It serves as the drainage point coming down off of the hill
Right.
for Moose Run, as well as, but that was my understanding of originally why it was built,
Retention.
retention ponds, right?
But I don't see any problem with that, but I was just curious.
Mhm. We can get into that discussion.
Yep, yep.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept the application as complete. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, the application is accepted as complete. And with that, we'll open the public hearing. And Craig, if you want to make some sort of presentation.
Yes, I would like to expand the present clubhouse by 20 by 22, 440 square feet, which is about 20% of our floor space at the moment, to better serve our guests and club members. We're not asking for any increase in occupancy, numbers. Matter of fact, we are under the numbers that are allowed, and will continue to stay under those numbers that are allowed with this new space. It's better. The present clubhouse will be turned into, which it kind of is anyway, is more of lobby or a common area space. And then we have the dining room into the glass patio, and then this area will serve as a basically a alcohol serving area. And that's pretty much it. It's really just a plan to work on what business we do have there today is to serve it better, actually, and to serve it more beneficial, I guess, to our guests. Just to give you a small thing about the golf course or any golf course today or any business is that the food and beverage is really literally a big part of the deal. You cannot survive on a single use property like strictly golf. The food and beverages should be up to close to 50% of the gross sales of the property in order for the whole property to work. And that's pretty close to where we're at. And this is just better to serve those numbers. Again, it's just a beneficial use of the golf course. The golf course, as you probably previously was struggling without food and beverage, and now it's definitely we can spend more money on the golf course because we have less stress on the business side of it. Simple as that, I guess. Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Just to clarify, you said you're not expecting an increase in seating capacity?
Hell no. Matter of fact, we could get rid of a few.
Yeah.
I don't know where these numbers. I mean, it's just fine with me. But, our biggest limitation is actually our bathroom sizes, and that's where we do have people asking us about larger groups, and basically we're not taking those. Our sweet spot is in the 30 to 40 people range. That's where everything kind of clicks in. We go above those numbers, we have problems with other things like being in the bathrooms.
Kitchen capacity.
Yeah, and my energy.
Yeah. What is your seating capacity then?
That's probably over 70. It's broken up into different things. There's 24 seats in the clubhouse itself, which we don't have. There's 30 out onto the glass patio, which we have 24. There's another some 20 some odd onto patios, which we're down to 16. So our numbers that our seating number are really geared toward the size of the kitchen that we built. And our seating capacity is geared to matches our size of our restrooms and our kitchen and our parking, let's say. So it's the numbers that were on our sheet, we're under, and we'll continue to stay under them. It just works better. So we're not adding anything here. We're just kind of moving. 24 seats that were allowed in the clubhouse. I think we're going to still only stay at 16. So, I mean, we're under that number.
Right.
The glass patio, we're allowed 30. There's only, if you walked in there today, there's 26 seats in there. And that seems to work fine. And I don't think we want to add any more. And not saying that we, there is we can talk, maybe come back. I think in the fall, I might come back and talk about the tubing thing a little bit differently. That's where we have the biggest influx of people all at once, kind of deal. But the summertime's a little bit more benign and smoother.
So you said the total seats is 24, is that what it is?
In the building, yeah. There are, and then they break it down into the patios, into the dining rooms.
Your total, like what you're allowed for is like 60, you said?
70, I think, something. Yeah, it's a ridiculous, I wouldn't say ridiculous, but it's a high number.
And the parking is based on that number?
I think those numbers were done by square footage and also by the number of bathrooms. That's usually how they do it on restaurants. Parking has to do with the parking things that you have here, seats and whatnot. There are 26 parking spots right now. we're gonna try to squeeze a couple more in just for our own benefit.
Is that counting the parking annex, or is it the 26?
No, just on around the site there now. Down at the garage, we do put the employees down there. All the employees will park at the garage, basically, that are working at the clubhouse. Because of the fact, especially on Saturdays. The big problem with parking is really in the wintertime. And we're trying to address that a little bit more with next to paving the whole place. Working with Town Square a little bit more with parking. Trying to get our hands around that pedestrian village type thing.
We are too.
I remember when we approved this, it was, the annex parking has never really worked, right? I mean,
It works with the
people
employees.
walk
If
down there.
you gotta remember that if you were permitting Walmart, let's say, they figure on the square footage and the number, and then they go by how many, they have a grid
Yeah,
program, and then the employees. So, I mean, we'll pull out, we use that down there for the employee parking, which literally can be 5 or 6 cars at some points, so that we're not taking up prime spots at the clubhouse with employee parking. It never factored into the actual numbers of the clubhouse itself. I think, and we've talked about the annex parking lot more so for if you had a tournament or if you had, especially again, it's in the wintertime that we have the big issue. But in the summertime, we'll handle all the parking right there on site. I don't see that we have any issues with parking in the summertime. Again, we're not looking to do more numbers. We're just looking to do what numbers we do have in a better fashion. That's about it.
The general, the addition is at the end of the building up toward the pond,
Correct.
and it's going across what is now looks like a walkway or access or.
Yeah, that's been changed the last couple of years.
Uh-huh.
We totally closed that off almost 2 years ago.
Is that where the fire pit is?
The walkway used to come through there and through between the building and the pond. We've now put the people around the building on the outside. And that was literally done 2 years ago.
That's going to affect the surface runoff to a certain extent. And I know the general slope I can see is coming from the.
Well, it's a
pond.
non-pervious surface, so it's not going to affect it that way because the car paths are not paved so they're impervious.
Can you come up here and show me how that drainage is going to be? We'd like to just,
For
for the
what?
record, like to put it on.
For what?
Well, where the drainage that's going to be blocked off from the addition is going to go. Just a couple.
There's
of
no
arrows.
drainage there now.
Well,
Drainage is going straight off the property.
okay, if the
Water's going this
all right, so the drainage, in other words, if these arrows show that way.
way. Yes, that will continue. I did mark up one.
Oh, you did, okay.
But all the water from here goes this way.
Okay.
And this is, we got drainage, we got swale ponds here. The whole parking lot is geared toward that swale pond and into here. So there is no water going that way. This tap is now over here. It is impervious, and so is this here too.
It is as currently. So,
Yeah. We're not anticipating any in the 400 square feet that we're adding, that it will significantly add any more drainage issues than what's going on there now. I mean, it's raining on all the property. So. The water on the back side of the building has been, we've got gutters on there now to shed them off those and into the back side of the property. We haven't had any puddling or anything like that on the property. One thing we are gonna do is add an overflow breakout onto the pond, the irrigation pond, toward where you see the puddling that's there, like just in the springtime, having a breakout wall put in that way. Right now, it's coming in the front, and that's being changed because, I don't know, it was like 2 years ago, we had that July storm where it really rained real heavily. And that's when I all of a sudden saw water come in, the pond overflowed. But it has a natural breakout, so we're just gonna manage that pond to break out the other direction. That's something that has to happen regardless. And it has nothing to do with the drainage on the site. It's the drainage, water coming down off from other properties are shedding water onto our property. And I mean, Bill mentioned about the Moose Run. We got Moose Run water coming into that pond. We hit it with a sediment pond first, and that's where the cat and nine tails are. And then from there, it gets filtered into the main part of the pond. And then there's an overflow that goes out.
What's the landscaping, Greg? Is that gonna be changing? You're gonna be adding?
No, I mean, there's a big birch tree there now. We're gonna maintain that birch tree. Where the new building is, we're gonna put stone up against the foundation, and then from there, it's only gonna be a small area between that and the asphalt pavement that's there today.
You're not adding any gas tanks or anything on the surface that has to be screened?
No, there's no air conditioning. There's no air conditioning. We're using the existing services from the building. The electrical, the heating, and all that stuff is coming, and the water, all is coming from the existing building into the addition. So there is no air conditioner compressors or any other outside, items. No metering or anything like that. I think the big thing is like air compressor, or, we don't have a backup generator type thing. So there's nothing that's going to be seen. The front of the building it's set back from the existing building, so it'll look a little bit smaller. It's not going to be a massive building or a massive wall, because it is setting back. We're setting it back 2 feet on each side from that building, mainly to save on the roof rack, the roof structure on the existing building, and the new one will sit underneath it, and it's going to be lower than the existing building and set into it too. So it's going to look like a family room, kind of like. That's about the size of it, I think. It's really. And literally the 440 square feet. I used to own hotels, and it's the size of a Holiday Inn hotel. Is 400 square feet exactly.
Any comments in favor from the public? Opposed?
So from the standpoint of Moose Run, I just kind of want to go on the record that we don't have anybody here who's concerned about the overflow parking onto Lost Pass Road.
Well, for me personally, it doesn't bother me, but I don't live where
Right.
the problem is.
Any further questions or comments?
I could address the parking. I mean, parking is probably one of the biggest things that a business can serve. If you don't have adequate parking if you have inadequate parking, you're actually shooting yourself in the foot. So I think it's something that's on our radar screen. I know we had some huge issues this winter. And I don't know exactly how to do it, but I can tweak it a little bit, I think, and actually work with what we were like for the hockey families, let's say, was our biggest problem. And we did stop, with the help of the police department, stop them from parking on the road last winter. But In the summertime, I don't think it's a real issue. It's, I think 90% of our guests are local. When we have the big influx of like a function or something like that, they're 90% local. We do very few, even the wedding rehearsals that we do, you'll see them walking over, which is good. We do encourage them to walk over. And most of them, the wedding rehearsals, they actually do, which is surprising, but they do. And they also have the trolley and the shuttles that they do in the summertime. We have a valley shuttle in the summertime, which helps us. I would like the Resort Association to do a valley shuttle next winter. But that's remains to be seen whether or not they will actually help with that or not. I have talked to some of the people about changing the winter format a little bit.
The parking issue in the winter, is that relative to the tubing or is it?
Yes, yeah, strictly for that.
And is it a regularly constant parking problem or is it on occasion?
No, it's every Saturday.
Every Saturday?
Chris, from your perspective, is there a public safety issue relative to the parking?
When they get into the road and the snowbanks start to come in and everything, it makes it a little narrow up there. I will say that anytime there's been parking that has happened along the road there, it's been promptly taken care of with the help of Craig and, you know, them seeing the cruiser out there with the lights on and the ticket. I mean, it usually gets resolved fairly quickly.
So that's parking on Lost Pass Road.
Correct.
Is there any issue with parking on the main street on the Valley Road?
We haven't had any issues with that, either there or on Boulder Path.
Okay.
The town does a pretty good job pushing it back in case somebody parks there, but we discourage it as much as we can. But we've never had a situation where it's been a hazard on Valley Road or Boulder Path, and when it has been a problem on Lost Pass, it's been resolved very quickly.
And with regard to this site plan review and the parking, nothing is going to change.
No. I mean, it's like if you added a family room to your house.
Right.
It's same people living there, same traffic. You just got a better house. I would, just on record, we will probably come back. I will come back probably in August or September with something about the tubing thing in the wintertime because we're seeing numbers of close to 600 people on a Saturday